Today's guest is someone who I have felt has a lot of labels that have been placed on her. Insecure, overreacting, too sensitive.
Well, I was the first Indian bride to be on MAFS UK.
A lot of women who grow up in an ethnic household are always very concerned if they'll accept somebody from a different culture or a different caste.
To be fair, they've always accepted my past relationships. I've dated a white Caucasian guy, an Iranian guy, been with an Indian man. I always say I don't have a certain type.
But a lot of people on the show labelled you as insecure.
The only two people that actually labelled me insecure and needy were my husband and the wife that was trying to get with him. With my journey, I would say it was amazing to start with. Honeymoon was fantastic. I remember thinking, this guy is too good to be true.
Do you feel like there was like love bombing in the beginning?
1000%.
You've got the flipping evidence and he's still lying. What was it?
I don't know whether...
Today's guest is someone who I have felt has a lot of labels that have been placed on her. Insecure, overreacting, too sensitive. Labels so many women hear when they're actually responding to behavior that doesn't add up. In today's episode, I'm joined by Nelly to talk around intuition, gaslighting, and why kindness is so often mistaken for weakness. We unpack how past betrayal gets weaponized against women, why inconsistency creates anxiety, and how to rebuild self-trust when your reality has been questioned publicly and privately. So as two brown girls, we talk a lot around cultural backgrounds. We talk a lot around the expectations that are put on us. We talk around a lot of the stigma and the taboo that happens when we raise how we truly feel. So if you're somebody who's interested in growth, if you're interested in changing your mind and shifting your perspective, today's conversation is going to be one that you really, really enjoy. So make sure you're following, make sure you're subscribed, and make sure you grab a cup of tea and sit down for this episode, because it's honestly one that is so interesting, so honest, so vulnerable, and one that I will really think help a lot of women who are struggling in relationships today. Nelly, hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Millennial Mind.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to have this conversation with you. I feel it's going to be really empowering for a lot of women who have been labeled as too sensitive, too much, too insecure, too this and too that. But before we kind of start the podcast, can you give it someone who's never watched Married at First Sight, who knows absolutely nothing about you, give us a 2-minute show reel of who you are and what you really want to share today?
So Married at First Sight is a show I took part in earlier this year.
Yeah.
So you basically it's for hopeless singles, I guess.
Yeah.
So someone who's struggled with their dating history or hasn't found their partner, but it's someone who's ready to be married and take that next step. So you have, you meet the experts. There's 3 experts. They essentially match you they match you with someone based on your personality type, everything that they do all the checks.
Yeah.
And then you meet them you meet them on the wedding day down the aisle. So the first time you see them is when you go down the aisle and the guy turns around. And then you go on a honeymoon together. And then you move into some apartments. And then you basically try and live like a kind of normal life. Like it's in a bubble, but essentially you're kind of living as normal now. And then you meet up weekly. There's loads of other couples there as well. So nice. I think 11 in total. But then you meet them every week for a dinner party where you're obviously going to discuss how your relationship is going. It's an open forum, really.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of the drama kicks off. And then you have your commitment ceremony where you sit with the experts and they basically dissect your entire your relationship and the progress from the week before, and really have to be showing to make progress to sort of not stay in the show. And that's not what it's about, but it's you want to make progress. That's why you're there. What's the point in turning up on week 3 when you're the same as week 2?
Sure. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your journey. Give me a little preview 360 on kind of what happened and really what you took away from the show.
So with my journey, I would say it was amazing to start with. The wedding day, honestly, I still smile talking about it.
Oh,
it was so
amazing.
Thank you. It was honestly really magical. I had my best friends with me, my family with me. Like everyone was so supportive. I think coming from a South Asian background, we'll go into that. Having all my family rooting for me was really lovely. And then meeting Steven, who was my husband on the experiment, and his family was so welcoming. They made the culture feels so widely accepted. I think I was really nervous about that as well.
Yeah, let's talk about that. That's really interesting.
I'm thinking, I was thinking, this guy is going to turn around thinking there's going to be some girl in a white wedding dress, and he might just be a bit overwhelmed with the fact that I'm in a red lehenga, which is fine. That's my culture. I'm always going to do what I want to do. I love my culture. But then also I thought, if this is my wedding day and it works out with him, I want to come down on a dolly.
Yeah.
I want to do it properly. This is me. This is where I'm from. And I wanted my husband to be able to accept that.
I love that. I love how you were so confident in that as well, in understanding this is who I am, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women struggle with that. I've seen a lot of women online talk about how they didn't ever accept their culture growing up. And now it's become, something that they feel really strongly about. And it's a very empowering way for them to say, this is what I believe in, this is what I want. And if you can't accept that, that's okay. But I know what I truly want.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the family expectation. I think that's a really great way to kind of start from, because a lot of women who grow up in an ethnic household are always very concerned around what their parents would think, what their family will think, and if they'll accept somebody from a different culture or a different caste.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've been quite lucky, to be fair. My parents are first generation immigrants. So both, my dad moved to the country when he was 14. My mum, when she married my dad, he went back to India to find a wife. Yeah. So I think, look, growing up, we had, a household where I lived with my aunties and uncles. I lived with my grandparents. I grew up with them. So it was a very sort of Asian household in that sense.
Yeah.
And I think, my mum and dad have always said, they always knew from a young age that I would not be difficult, but I would not go with the norm. And I think I remember saying to my mum at like 12 years old, she always says this. She goes, you always said that, Mum, just by the way, be aware you might not bring an Indian guy home. I might not bring an Indian guy home. Not because I was planning on not, but it's just, I remember saying, I will love who I love.
Yes.
And then I think my parents kind of, to be fair, they've always accepted my past relationships. I've dated a white Caucasian guy. I've dated an Iranian guy. I've been with an Indian man. Like I've actually been with, I always say I don't have a certain type. There's no race. It's just really whoever gels with me. But my parents have always been quite accepting of it. I think at first they're a bit like, are you sure you don't want to, try and date within the culture?
Yeah.
And then I just tell them, Mum, I really like them. Or Dad, I really like them. And they're like, you know what, fair.
Yeah, that's so nice. I think it's so lovely to have parents who really support and understand you. And, I did a podcast with Sarova from Love is Blind. And a lot of people messaged me after that saying, how do I tell my parents that I really love this guy? Because he's not the same religion as me. Yeah. He's not the same, doesn't come from the same ethnic background as me. And a lot of women struggle with that even to this day.
It makes me, I've had the same messages as well.
Really?
Saying, just from women saying, like, thank you so much for firstly putting yourself out there. We don't see enough South Asian women on these types of TV shows.
We don't.
Literally, I can think of obviously Sarova, who's been on Love is Blind, and then really I'm thinking I was the first Indian bride to be on MAFS. Well, MAFS UK. They've done one in Australia a few years ago.
Yeah, Sarova was the first Indian for Love is Blind as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's so we're not represented enough, but a lot of women have messaged me as well just saying thank you for, you stuck out in your relationship and they watched it play out on screen, but they also say you kind of calling out these behaviors and recognizing that kind of made them question their own relationships. And I've had people say they've left their husbands with their children and stuff. And I think that's insane. I always say, if I could have helped one woman with my journey, then it was so worth it.
I love that.
Which,
Talk to us about your journey. So you said it started off amazing.
Yeah.
Right? He accepted you for who you were.
Yeah.
What happened?
Honeymoon was fantastic. We had the best time. I remember thinking, this guy is too good to be true. And I think I was single before the show for about 18 months and I was dating, but I was extremely skeptical of any man who came near me. Men would on dates say, you're hard work, I can't get through to you and stuff. And
really?
Yeah. I was like, am I?
Sorry?
But I think about it now. I remember taking that thinking, maybe I am hard work. Actually, no, I'm not hard work. I just kind of tried to really put boundaries in place. Maybe I came off standoffish. I don't know.
I am shocked that someone could say that.
Yeah, it was hard work. Two people before the last two people I dated before going on Married at First Sight said I was hard work. And I didn't, the thing is I didn't also care to ask them why.
Was this after you said you didn't want to be with them or did they break up with you? Like stop dating you?
Or just when we were dating.
Did you stop it or did they stop it and say that?
Yeah, to be fair, I did stop it.
Right. Okay. That was the reason
Right.
I asked that. Okay, is because men often then, I feel, attack the woman when they feel rejected.
Yeah.
I went on a date with someone once, it was a blind date, and I really didn't like the guy.
Fine.
So, and one of our friends set us up.
Yeah.
And after the date, I said to the guy, listen, I really didn't like him.
Well, good on you for
and
saying
I'm not
it.
going to see him again.
Yeah.
Right. And my friend said, oh God, because you know what? He said it went really well. And I said, well, listen, I'm going to message him and I'm just going to say this to him.
Yeah.
His reply to me
Yeah.
was, well, if I'm honest, I don't really think we're compatible anyway, because you wake up at 5 a.m. and it seemed like you were really obsessed with having kids because you talked about your niece and nephew.
I'm sorry for loving my family. Sorry for loving my family.
But before, he told my friend that he wanted to see me again. But when I said to him, listen, look, I'm really sorry. I just don't think we're compatible. I think you're really nice, but look, I don't think we're compatible. It's one flipping day.
Yeah.
He then attacked me for waking up at 5 a.m. And I was like, this is just
you
classic.
wish you could wake up at 5 a.m. Let's be honest.
But this is why I asked you, is that, did you say to them, I didn't want to stop seeing you? Because I feel that's when men are like, well, you know what? You're too much hard work anyway, and I don't want to be with you anyway.
Yeah. It's a classic, can I have your number? No, well, you clapped anyways.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I hate you anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it always happens, doesn't
that's
it?
true.
That's so interesting. So
I think I took that though. I thought, well, I am hard work. Maybe I am hard work. If two men have said that, Nelly, you are the common denominator. You've got to be, I've got to be a bit of a problem here. So I think I kind of went into it thinking, don't be hard work. Be chill.
right.
Be good. Like, obviously call out stuff if you see it, but don't go in too hard. But yeah, like, so the honeymoon was incredible. I was like, maybe I'm one of the lucky ones. I know on these types of shows. Well, I assume it's a reality show.
Yeah.
There will be not greatly matched couples because it is an entertainment program. And I really thought that actually, and I think they did as well. I think they really wanted to actually match me and Steven. And I understand why they did match us. From what everything is on paper, from when you first meet us, you would look at us and go, well, why wouldn't you be great together?
Yeah.
So honeymoon was perfect. I came back, we had the apartment, and I just felt a certain shift. Couldn't explain it. One of the camera guys who I got really close to, I was in the immigration queue with him. And I remember he was like, how are you feeling about it all? And I remember saying to him, I was like, this is going through my head. And he thought, really? And he was really good. He just listened to what I was saying. He went, just keep your wits about you and just still remember to go in with an open mind. I think everyone told me that. My friends, my family said, go in with an open mind, an open heart. Don't judge people the moment you meet them. And I thought, fine, I've got to stick by that. That is what the advice is of my family and friends. And I want to see the best in people. And I thought, this is the first time I'm going to get to experience something like this. Don't ruin it if this could be your perfect person, which I guess explains why I stayed and tolerated behaviors that I shouldn't have.
I really love that you said that you felt the shift, but then your logical mind was, let me think back to what everyone else has told me about myself. Let me ignore my own intuition and let me actually just say, I'm going to ignore what the sign is telling me.
Yeah.
I think so many women ignore their intuition.
So many.
But energy doesn't lie.
Honestly, there was a shift and I felt it on that last day, just something, and I couldn't explain it. And then it would kind of, after 20 minutes, it was back and I thought, well, what was that shift about? But I don't want to be crazy. I've known you all week. Right. We've had the most amazing week.
Right.
We've been sharing a bed together. We've been acting like a normal couple.
Yeah.
People around the resort who meet us think that we've been together for 2 years. So what is it? I don't know you well enough to go at you about it. Then that's a bit crazy.
What was it?
I don't know. I don't know whether... I've actually never told anybody this. And I don't know whether I'm thinking too much into it. But on the last day of our honeymoon, we had like a dinner, like a romantic dinner planned where we can talk about our week, etc. And there was like a rainstorm, so we had to move from the beach to a venue. So whilst we did that, me and him just had some drinks while we waited for the camera crew to set up. And weirdly, he kind of just asked like, oh, so like, what do you earn? And I remember thinking, that's a bit personal. And also, men I've dated before have had like, I earn well. I'm a dentist.
Yeah.
I'm proud of that. I've worked so hard for it.
And you should be proud of that.
Exactly. So, and I remember saying to myself, I was like, don't tell them what you earn because it will put, some men don't like it. I get it. Not that I get it. I know that happens.
Yeah.
Be secure. Love me. It's fine. I don't care how much you earn, but yeah, fine. And I think maybe not a mistake, but I was honest and I thought, you know what? It's been the most incredible week. We've connected so well. and I see this going somewhere. Why wouldn't I be honest with him? So I told him, and it was like 3 times as much as he earned, which is fine. I didn't care about that. I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. And I remember that something changed for then. We had our drink. It was a bit quiet. We played Connect 4, distracted ourselves for a little bit. And then it was like back to normal again. And I think from that shift, I couldn't understand where it came from. And then I noticed it just even that evening when we got back, filming had stopped, like at nighttime, it just, something was different.
You know, every January, we tell ourselves the same thing. This year is going to be different. And it might be, but nothing changes unless we take the first step. So if you've been sitting on a business idea, 2026 is the year you finally launch it. The year you rewrite your story and actually become the entrepreneur that you've been imagining. And the most powerful move you can make is starting your business with Shopify. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person, and millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from huge brands to first-time founders starting from scratch, including me. I launched my store on Shopify for my planners in 2021 with no experience whatsoever. You can build your dream store with hundreds of beautiful templates. Use Shopify's built-in AI tools to write product descriptions and edit photos. And you can even create email and social campaigns right inside the platform. And as you grow, Shopify grows with you. More orders, new markets, all managed from one dashboard. So if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. And 2026 is your year to launch. So this year, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. You can sign up for your £1 per month trial and start selling Shopify today at shopify.co.uk. That's shopify.co.uk, where you hear your first cha-ching this new year with Shopify by your side. I'll leave the link in the show notes. Let's get back to this episode. That's so interesting. I think that is a very common thing that a lot of women feel.
And I was even scared about just saying it now. I thought, what am I trying to insinuate? I'm not trying to insinuate anything. I'm just thinking, well, that's when I noticed it.
Don't be scared.
Yeah,
I think that's really,
when I noticed it.
I think
I'm going to be honest with you. I'll always be honest.
Yeah, I really appreciate you being so brave and honest there, because I think a lot of women feel that way, that when they tell a man how much they earn and if it's more, they feel that the man is judging them.
Yeah.
And they feel that the man then thinks, I'm not good enough.
Which isn't the case.
But a lot of men do feel that way.
Yeah.
A lot of men I speak to will say, I definitely would feel insecure if a woman earned more than me, because I believe it's my role as a provider to earn more than the woman so I can look after her.
Yeah.
When we break that down, I think this is one of the reasons as well why we're seeing such a shift in society as well. A lot of men are saying, like, why are women going after these things? They should stay home, they should earn. And I actually just saw this reel the other day of this woman being like, I have never worked a day in my life. And my husband always said that he would look after me, but he's just come home one day and he's basically said, I don't want to be with you anymore. And I have no money. I have nowhere to go. I don't know what to do. And then this woman stitched it and was like, this is the reason I always say that make your own money, make your own living. Like, make sure you're financially independent so you can have resources, so that if something does go wrong, God forbid it doesn't, but if something does go wrong, you've got options. And she always says that I met with so many women who attack me and say, this is why relationships break up, because men are trying to be in the feminine and women are trying to be in the masculine. I do think it's tricky, because I definitely feel like masculine and feminine energy are a thing.
Yeah, I do as well.
But I really feel every relationship and individual is different, because people like to do different things. People have different strengths.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't always have a situation where you're both earning exactly the same. There's always going to be one person who earns more. And a lot of women feel insecure if their husband earns more or partner earns more than them. So it is an individual thing. And I don't think it's a bad thing for you to call that out and say, I noticed a shift.
Yeah, okay.
And I felt distant because I felt that was the reason. He might respond, by the way, I don't have him sitting next to us on this podcast. I'm saying that was absolutely not true. It could have been something else.
And it might not have been
and
true.
It could have been.
Yeah, it might
but
not have been.
That is how you felt.
Yeah, and I've actually, it's because I never even brought that to the show. It was just I never even told a producer. I never told Steve, and I never ever brought it because I thought, I don't want to be that person. But you're right, though. Like,
But again, it's something like, I don't want to hurt his feelings.
I always put him above myself, which was one of the things that I've learned from this.
Yeah.
To deal with it.
I think what I'm hearing from you is the honeymoon was so safe that it kept you patient. Do you feel like there was like love bombing in the beginning?
1000%.
And that kept you kind of thinking, well, he was so nice to me in the beginning. I should wait this out. Maybe he's having a bad day. Maybe this 100%. Is just an off thing. Do you think a lot of women ignore these red flags because their partner is so nice to them in the beginning?
Yeah, I've been, and the thing is, this isn't the first time I've been love bombed, but I will make sure that doesn't happen again. Like, I've learned so much. But 100%, you are holding out hope to, we were amazing on that honeymoon. That was incredible. It wasn't just the location. It was how you were with me, your demeanor, the way you made me feel. You made me feel safe. You made me feel heard, looked after. You wanted to get to know me. All of that stuff. We had amazing chats on the honeymoon. Nothing too deep because we both wanted to, ease ourselves into it. But 100% you chased that. Yeah. And I kept saying that on the show. I went, I'm waiting for honeymoon Steven to come back. I was like, where's honeymoon Steven gone? And I did get him back for 1 week, and that's what kept me there. This is a problem. I got him back, and I was like, oh my God, we've done our hurdle. Every couple here will have a hurdle. It's not just us. Ours just was in the beginning, and now we'll sail through. And then it obviously just dropped off again. And that's when obviously I thought, right, girl, this isn't working, and he doesn't like you. You need to leave.
You just said just now, I've been love bombed before, and I'll make sure that it never happens again. How do you distinguish someone's just being nice to you or they're love bombing you?
I just don't think, this is just my own personal experience. I've been with men that haven't love bombed me. And for example, like my first ever relationship I ever had was my longest one, but it was one that was incredibly emotionally safe. Yes, it didn't end nicely and whatever, but it was a really amazing relationship whilst I was in it. And I always kind of compare myself to, I think when I first met him, I didn't get the super highs, and it wasn't, oh my God, I'm obsessed with you, I'm fixated on you. And I think that's what I thought was love, and I was chasing that for so long. Yeah. And then I actually think, when was I happiest in a relationship? It was my first boyfriend, where it started off really slow and I didn't even notice him in the lecture hall. Do you know what I mean? But I think now I just, not that I wouldn't, maybe not that I wouldn't definitely notice love bombing. I'm just very observant now as to, why are you acting that? Why are you doing every little thing you can for me when you've known me 3 days?
On that, I really want to add, how does somebody distinguish between someone just being really sweet and really loving and really kind, or they are love bombing? Because sometimes in the beginning, people are just so infatuated with somebody that they just want to be really sweet and really nice. Do you think he did that intentionally? Do you think he was saying, like, I want you to see this side of me and I'm love bombing you? Or do you think, like, some people who do this are just, they don't know that they're doing that and they are just infatuated with someone? It's really hard, isn't it?
It's really hard because I think sometimes, do I love bomb someone when I really like them? Because I'm like, let's hang out. I want to hang out with you all day. I want to spend my time with you. Yeah. I think with love bombing, you realize it's love bombing when it's inconsistent, when it drops off. Right. And then I think that for me is, if someone's nice and always nice and continuously makes you feel safe and secure, you've got a golden ticket there, hang on. But I think when it drops off and there's inconsistencies and there's these highs and lows of big arguments, I think that's when you start thinking, what was that at the start? Were they putting everything on me to sort of get me? Yeah. In terms of my relationship on the show, I still find it hard. Part of me, my head is saying that was done on purpose to essentially get you. Yeah. But then my other part of me is thinking that you don't want to believe that something, like, we were intimate on the honeymoon. We were really, it felt like we were in a really proper relationship. Kind of makes me think maybe he wasn't. My head and my gut is saying that it was intentional. Yeah. I like to think that maybe, and I'm sure Steven will say, Steven has said different things, that it was all honest. And I would like to believe that, but it's hard backed up of what else went on the show. It kind of all makes sense in my head anyway. And people have different opinions, and that's okay. But it's nice to get people's opinions, because I lived that show and I watched it. But for a complete outsider that doesn't even know it, it's not even a cast member. Some of the other cast members did say to me, he definitely love bombed you on the honeymoon, and that was intentional. But that's from them knowing the situation, living with us, that kind of thing.
I think everything in hindsight is always so much easier to judge. Yeah. But we really never know how people feel in that moment. Yeah. And so it is a difficult one to say, isn't it? I think you really just know from someone's energy with really how they're presenting themselves towards you. I think something that I really loved about the show was how honest you were. And how honest you were about your last relationships, how, you even just said just now, people have said that I'm hard work, so I'm going to make sure that I'm not hard work. I want to improve myself. I want to see how I can be better. But a lot of people on the show labeled you as insecure. Yeah. And said that you were insecure rather than calling out the inconsistency. Talk to me about that.
It was really frustrating. I mean, to be fair, out of all the cast members, the only two people that actually labelled me insecure and needy were my husband and the wife that was trying to get with him. Everyone else kind of understood it.
Yeah.
Everyone else were like, yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Nell's, you know what, Nell, I can't argue with you when I would speak to people. And yes, you know, we had our own issues about me going to speak to my friends about it. But the two people that labelled me as needy and insecure, you can label me that, but obviously hindsight's so different.
It is.
But they proved me right. So I took great pleasure at the end, really. How is being needy and insecure asking for what you gave me on the honeymoon?
Yeah.
You were actually, in fact, even at the airport, when we got to the airport after our wedding night, very, very cuddly, very giving, you know. And I remember thinking, I don't really know you. But in my head, I thought, do you know what I mean? I thought, you know what? No, he's going with it. Just, Nelly, enjoy it. Stop sabotaging.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it. Enjoy being loved and liked and, you know. And I hadn't been in a relationship for 18 months. And I was like, you know what? Fine, enjoy it. Why am I now needy and insecure because I just want what you gave me when you didn't even know me?
So
now
true.
You know me. I'm not asking for anything more. I'm just give me the bare minimum. And now watching it back, I'm like, oh my God, I was only asking for the bare minimum. How embarrassing you couldn't even give me that.
I think a lot of women are very emotionally observant. You know, women are so amazing because we have such a strong intuition.
Such a strong intuition.
We know and we can read energy from other people.
Yeah.
And we can smell out the bullshit.
Literally.
And I think that so many women are misdiagnosed as being insecure, too judgmental.
Yeah.
We're always told that we're being bitchy, we're looking for the bad, but a lot of the time we can feel it.
Yeah, we can feel it and calling it out.
And also, we don't need to listen to your words to decipher whether you're telling the truth.
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah.
And so many women are told to not listen to that gut feeling. And I think that we need to listen to it more. 100.
That was my entire journey.
Yeah.
It's I need to trust my gut instinct because the whole time I would even call Steven out on it and say, don't think you like me. And I would say every single week before a commitment ceremony, let's have a chat. Where are you at? Where's your head at? It's okay if you don't like me. I'm a big girl. I can handle it.
Yes.
Let's leave as friends. It's fine. Let's. And it was always met with, you're overthinking. This is exhausting. You need too much reassurance. I wouldn't be here.
Problem.
You're the problem. I won't be here without my children if it wasn't for you. If it wasn't, I'm here for you. So how dare you? How dare you kind of question
me?
Yeah. And I remember, and then I would feel really guilty. I'd be like, oh my God, Nelly, you're an awful person. Like, why are you questioning him when he's left his kids and he's going through all of this? And I think for ages it was that cycle. And I remember speaking to one of the guys on there and just kind of said it, who was friends with Steven as well, and kind of just said it. And he kind of said, Nelly, you're not overthinking. And he was like, you're just thinking. And I was like, right, okay.
Oh, I love that.
And
you're not overthinking, you're just thinking.
Yeah. And when he said that, he didn't say in a certain term, you're right, because I think he wanted to be careful about whose side he takes, and that's fair. But the moment he said that, I thought, okay, you've clocked it. So it's time I clock it now.
I was just going to ask you that. So Paul Brunson said, Nelly is reacting normally to abnormal behavior.
Yeah. And
I thought that was so powerful because a lot of the time when someone's treating us disrespectfully, we brush it off. We say, oh, they just had a bad day, or, you know, maybe I'm overthinking it, exactly what you just said. When was the first time you realized that this was abnormal behavior? Because there's a lot of women who are stuck in relationships or stuck in friendships, and they don't really know that something is abnormal until maybe someone else says it to them, or maybe they have this aha moment.
Yeah.
What was your aha moment?
So it's difficult because I had a few moments. So I had the first time I realized that I wasn't going crazy was when Paul Brunson said at the third commitment ceremony, Steven, you're gaslighting her. So he asked me 3 quick fire rounds. He said, have you ever doubted yourself? And obviously you could all see it. I've doubted myself or doubted the relationship since after the honeymoon. Do you feel like Steven deflects? We all know that guy deflects. It was in our conversations. It was something that was all known to the cast. And do you feel like he dismisses your feelings? We saw that the week earlier at the dinner party. So he did these quick fire rounds, and I was like, well, yes. And I apologized to Steve when he said about the dismissing feelings. I was like, I'm really sorry, because I knew the moment I get home, I'm going to get it.
Okay, that's so important that you just said that.
Yeah.
The moment I get home, I'm going to get it. What do you mean by that?
By that, I mean, I'm going to get some form of, I just thought, like when I said yes, and I just thought I'm going to go home. He's going to be in a mood. He's going to say, why didn't you stand up for me? But that's exactly what happened in the end. It's exactly, I remember thinking, and even when, you could see in that clip that Steven was sort of fighting back with Paul, and Paul, was like, bro, I've got receipts, don't even go there. Because, I mean, it's all televised. So he's got receipts, and he's obviously got multiple receipts to be able to even call it out like that. But I remember thinking, don't fight back. Like, this is an expert, and we are here to learn and to grow. Like, if you can't take on this criticism, like, you have to.
I just want to take a little break in this episode because I wanted to share something that's really helped me. I've been using Babbel recently because I realized that most of us don't want to learn a new language to memorize grammar or top a leaderboard. We want to actually speak it in the real world with real people. And Babbel gets you there fast. I've been learning Spanish for our travels, and honestly, just 10 minutes a day has made such a difference because Babbel is all around small steps and big wins, and you can actually feel your progress because their lessons are designed by over 200 language experts, so you learn real phrases that you'll actually use. And what I love is that Babbel fits into your lifestyle. You can listen to their podcasts, practice speaking out loud, or pick lessons based on topics that you care about. It just makes language learning feel doable, and with 15 languages, personalized plans, and even a 20-day money-back guarantee, it's a science-based app that actually works. Right now, you can get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription at babbel.com/Millennial Mind. That's BABBEL.com/Millennial Mind. Rules and restrictions may apply, but I'll leave the link in the show notes. So let's get back to this episode.
I remember just thinking, this isn't going to go down well, and I'm going to be punished for it in terms of emotionally.
Oh, Nelly.
Yeah. I was though. I was punished for it. I was told I blindsided him, that I didn't stand up for him. You told me in your vows that you would always be there for me and have each other's backs. Yeah, of course I would. I'd had a lot of my friends' backs, you know what I mean? But it was, well, you didn't have your husband's back. It was a lot, like.
This actually hurts my heart.
And actually and some of the cast, my friends that I'm friends to this day were like, girl, listen to them, But then I had another half that were kind of saying, it's a big word, we're on that couch together. I would stand up for my husband in that instant. So I had some other people, some of the guys saying, and actually the wife who ended up trying to get with Stevens took me out for my nails because I was sad, and then kind of said, it's a big word. You should have stood up for him. So I kind of went into, after that day, we have a down day, because we have the dinner party and commitment ceremony right back on back. I remember thinking that day, I'm an awful friend. I'm an awful wife. I didn't stand by my vows. I was so broken. And that's when you see that big day out where I have that, not big argument, but I just was overwhelmed, and I was like, get me home, get me out of here.
Yeah. I want to talk about that. But first, I think I really want to talk about that. It's such an important part of the show. And I think it's got so much in there that I really want to speak about, which is why I want to talk about this part first. It really breaks my heart because I think there are so many women out there who are in relationships that they are too scared to call out the behavior. Other people call out that behavior in front of the couple. Yeah. And when the wife actually, for the first time, feels seen, feels heard, feels like, oh my God, someone else sees it. And someone says, do you like the way your husband speaks to you? And they say, no, not really. And for the first time that they don't defend their husband, like you said, they get home and they get it.
Yeah.
That could happen physically, that could happen emotionally.
Yeah.
Both are so awful because the husband will then make that person feel shit. Like you said, you're a terrible wife, you never stand up for me. Why'd you never have my back? Why'd you let other people speak to me like that? If someone else spoke to you like that, I would always defend you. Yeah. And then they feel even worse because now they're
the victim now. And you're the perpetrator for not looking after them the way they say they will look after you.
What advice would you give to women in that situation right now? Some people are married in that situation.
I know. I think what I would say is it's really, really hard. But if the people around you who love you and have got nothing but support for you, if they are, I think listen to them. It's hard though, because it's like, how do you play that? When you're sat there with your friend coming at your husband, for example, and you're thinking, well, do I step in and I wouldn't do anything differently. I wouldn't stand up. And because how can I sit, and this is what I used to always say, I'm like, how can I sit there and defend you when I agree with what the experts are saying?
Well, that's a difficult thing, yeah.
I'm here to be honest. I'm not here. My reasoning for coming on the show wasn't to have your back. My reasoning was to come and find a husband and grow myself, and hopefully at the end find love. And if we could find that together, incredible. But my whole reason for being here isn't to defend your bad behavior.
It's not to be fake either.
No, I'm not
you would
being
be fake if you were saying like, no, you are like that, or you are whatever.
Yeah.
You would be lying to yourself.
And I massively downplayed a lot of my emotions on that show, which I revealed at the end. And the experts kind of understood and they said, have you been? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, that makes sense. But even that, like even just downplaying it, don't do it. Your feelings are valid, and your feelings are, you should never suppress your feelings and think that they're not important. But if you don't feel like you can talk to your partner, talk to a friend, talk to a family member, talk to a therapist. I love therapy.
I love therapy.
Therapy's great.
Yeah, I agree.
I think everyone should do it. Even when you're happy, just go to therapy.
Yeah, it's a fantastic tool.
Yeah, because when you're happy, you figure out even more cool stuff about you that you didn't know.
Yeah.
Because you're in a better space, because you don't have to dissect or go through anything. But I just think, even if you don't feel like you're in a position where you can openly say to your partner that you want therapy, do it secretly.
Yeah.
No
one needs to know.
Yeah, like you can do those online things. I just think find a way to have an outlet, because what I find that those types of partners, I'm not generalizing them all, they thrive off isolating you. That's how they get their power. It's a power thing. I feel like it's massive power play a lot of the time. But by isolating you from, and a lot of these women that have messaged me have said, he's isolated me from my friends and family. I haven't spoken to him in 12 years. What do I do? And I'm thinking, I don't know. What do you do? Is there anyone you can go to? Is there anyone you can rely on? Because I know for a fact that if I have so many people I can call, and I have so many family members, I'm so supported, and that's why I know I'm fine, and I will always be fine.
I think one of the biggest reasons why people don't share with their family and friends when they're struggling in a relationship is because their friends and family will say, run, leave, what are you doing, why are you staying? And staying in a relationship is a lot more complicated than we think. A lot of the time it's based on what other people have told us. You're too difficult, you run away, you never want to commit, you can't put up with things, you ask for too much, right? You're too strong. Is something that I've been told as well. Like, you're too opinionated, Shivani, tolerate the behavior. Then the other side of it is you're a pushover. Why don't you respect yourself? Why don't you have your own boundaries? Why do you let other people treat you like that? Why don't you stand up for yourself? Stand up for what's right. I think so many women, especially from our parents' generation, who were forced to be in relationships, who were never told that their opinion matters, who were never told that their feelings matter, were scared to tell their mums because their mums would be then worried about their relationships, were scared to tell their siblings because their siblings would say, just leave, were scared to tell their friends because then their friends would then judge them for being a pushover or not standing up for themselves. So they're stuck in these relationships. And then do you know what happened?
Those two things is exactly how I felt.
And do you know what happened to them for our parents' generation? They tell their kids. And then what happens? Their kids become parentified. Their kids become enmeshed. I think so many Indian daughters are enmeshed in their parents' relationship because their mums, through no fault of their own, had no one to talk to.
100%.
They didn't have therapy to pay for. They didn't have friends that they could trust, and they couldn't tell their parents because their parents would just tell them to stay. So it'd make them feel even more shit. And also their parents would then say, now I'm worried about you. So then the mums would be like, oh God, now I've worried my parents. So what do? They tell their kids. The kids become enmeshed. And then what happens? The kids have to choose. Do I love my mom? Do I love my dad? And it breaks my heart. I think this is one of the biggest reasons why people don't share. So they just keep it to themselves. And this is obviously, we didn't see it to that extreme with your family. I can't say that, we don't have kids yet. But I can see that in that scene where all these other couples are getting involved. It felt really overwhelming for you. Talk to me about that. So, all these people had an opinion on your relationship. How did that make you feel?
So, I mean, I could deal with everyone having an opinion on my relationship because I think that the show sort of encouraged that, to be open and talk about these things. But I mean, look, I'm human. I want everyone to tell me my relationship is great. Like, it's not great getting negative feedback. I've got to take it. And I've always told myself that it will make me stronger. So, I knew going in there, well, my husband's just been called a gaslighter 2 days ago. That's a big word. It's a big label. He's been told of his behavior. Him and I haven't really spoken much during our day off because he wanted his own time. I was like, fine, I'm not going to cramp your style. I'll go get my nails done. And then we both got separated. He went to the spa day at 5 a.m. and I had my day out with everybody. It was hard. I think I was so broken at that point because I had my husband tell me, you're not a good wife in terms of you didn't support me, etc. And I hate to let people down. I always think I'm a loyal friend. I would do anything for the people that I care about. And then for someone that I care about the most, really, in the experiment, doesn't think that of me. It felt really, it hurt. But I was more disappointed in myself. I didn't blame it on the fact that he's not getting it. I just thought, well, maybe I'm not good enough. And then going into that day, where obviously everyone was telling me the truth, I was like, yeah, fair. Like, I think that's what was really hard. It was, well, he doesn't like you. And I was like, I know. But if I communicate it to him, I'm told I'm overthinking, because everyone was saying, go, well, you just need to tell him. Don't you think I have told him? I've tried to tell him, like, in certain ways. I was a bit like, I know what you're saying, and you're completely right. Like, when Maeve was saying it, she was 100% correct in what she was saying. And me and Maeve are so super close. Like, we FaceTime every day. It's lovely. But, and I know everyone there was only saying it for my benefit, because actually I was really good friends with the majority of the people there. But I think it's hard, isn't it, when someone is saying, you know, you need to stand up to it. I'm going, yeah, but every time I do, I'm told I'm too much, I'm overbearing, and I'm asking for too much. But then if I don't say it, I'm a doormat. Where do I lie? Because currently my emotional awareness is making it, well, I always say emotional awareness, if it makes people uncomfortable, it's their problem. It's because they're the problem.
I think that scene was really hard for me to watch, because I felt really bad for you that all these people were attacking you, being like, why aren't you speaking up? Why aren't you saying it? At the same time, I've definitely felt that way about my friends and also about other people in my life, where I'm like, why are you doing this? Because they can see someone hurting you so much and they care so much about you that maybe they're not addressing it in the right way, but it's coming from such a loving place. Now, there's two things I want to talk about on that. I think it's really hard if you see your friend being mistreated by their partner. Yeah. That could be through cheating, that could be through yelling, that could be through emotional abuse, it could be through physical abuse. And that friend does not want to leave, because you love your friend and you only want the best for your friend. But in that situation, I think it's really important to say things in a way of, this is what I've observed, this is why I'm worried, and this is what I feel is the right thing right now. Yeah. I know you might not see it, and that's totally fine. But at the end of the day, you can't force someone to do something that they don't want to do. You know, I've had a friend whose partner is so emotionally abusive to them. Yeah. And they've told me, and I feel so awful about it. And then the next day they're like, oh, by the way, I didn't mean what I said last night.
That's really hard.
And then I tell my husband, and he's like, you can't force them. And men are just so black and white.
It's so black and white.
Men are like he's just like, well, if she wants to stay with him, she wants to stay with him. And I'm like,
I want to save her.
No, I want to save her. But I realize, like, I cannot be everybody's life jacket. Yeah. Like, they don't want to put the life jacket on. And it's so painful, because I'm like, please put the life jacket on. I promise you will stay afloat.
Yeah, I think that it's fear, though. I think that's what it is. It's like fear of, I've got the life jacket on and I know I've got friends and support, but like, what if going into that water, I don't know, I get hypothermia. It's scary, yeah.
And I also think, though, on the other side of it, I think we've got to support our friends who have decided to stay in a relationship that we don't think is right.
Yeah, I agree.
I do not think your relationship is right, but at the end of the day, I'm not in it. Yeah. And it's very easy for me to sit on my high horse and being like, he's doing this wrong, you're an idiot for that, that doesn't work for me. But I'm not in the relationship, number one. And I've had a friend who said to me, she's fallen out with so many of her friends because she's decided to stay with her partner after he's cheated. And her friends don't agree. And she's at this point like, but you're my friend. Yeah. Don't you think you should support me? Yeah. Don't you think you should also support my decision to work through my relationship with him? Because lots of people go through difficult relationships, so they just cut her off. They just said at the end of the day, I don't want to be friends with you if you're going to decide to stay with him. And I actually don't think that's a good friend. I know that's a controversial opinion.
That's not a good friend at all.
But I don't think your friend should decide what you should and shouldn't do in a relationship. I think that's your decision and your decision only. And a lot of people will think that's controversial. A lot of people will think that is wrong. But if your friend is telling you that you shouldn't stay with somebody, they're not really a good friend, in my opinion. Because a good friend is somebody who's there to support you through thick, through thin. Yeah. Whatever decision you make, your friend should support you on that. Yeah. And if that decision is to stay with a partner who is nasty and is horrible to you, then you have to support them through that. Yeah. I get it. Also at the same time, like there's only so much you can hear. Yeah. But you should just support them and say, hey, listen, I agree. I understand that you've decided to stay with them. Have you thought about getting therapy? Have you thought about doing this? Have you thought about doing that? Because at the end of the day, I love you and I want the best for you. 100%. But also, I'm not your parent and I'm also not your dictator.
Yeah.
So I'm not here to tell you what you should and should be doing.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I just think you shouldn't ever just cut somebody off because you're with the partner that you don't like. So all you're doing is now isolating her further.
Yeah.
And then when it goes wrong, because it probably will if it's that awful of a relationship, she needs people to pick her back up. Or what if it gets even worse?
Yes.
And they're getting, let's say they're down the emotional abuse cycle. What if she's getting even more abuse? But now you've cut contact with her. She can't even reach out because she's not got the circle anymore.
She's got no one to talk to.
Yeah.
How did you kind of overcome that? Because, you know, when you're on TV as well, and you've got all these women shouting at you and you've got all these people shouting at you, you just said that you're still really good friends with those girls. Yeah. How did you overcome that? Because there's going to be a lot of people watching this that perhaps have had that same encounter with their friends where perhaps their friend didn't say something in the right way, perhaps their friend called something out that they didn't want to know, perhaps their friend raised something that they weren't quite ready to face yet. Yeah. How do you then have that conversation with that friend to say, hey, listen, I didn't appreciate the way it was said, or look, I wasn't ready to receive that information?
I think I knew that all those people that were saying all of that were coming from a good place because they cared. And I think I just remember, like, I not stormed off, but I was like, I need a timeout. I didn't want to argue with anyone, and I didn't ever want it to get that way, but I just thought I need a timeout. And so I saw the support, though. Those same people that were having their opinions came and ran after me and went to the toilet with me. I thought, it wasn't a case of I wanted people to run after me. I just was like, I need a timeout. But then seeing the same people show up, and be like, look, we're with you. We want you to be okay. We want you to see what we're seeing. I thought, well, that is love. And then even that evening when we all got back to the apartments, you know, we have our phones, we text each other, check in. Are you feeling okay? Have you had something to eat? Things like that. Like, it's just nice. And I think, oh no, someone who's checking if I've eaten and I've got settled for bed okay, that's someone who cares. And that's what all those people were.
I really love that, because I think a lot of the time when we've hurt a friend, we just think, oh, I'll just leave them to it. And then you feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
And then you just think, I'm not going to check in on them. But actually what you're saying is that was really nice that they checked in on you.
Yeah.
And that showed you that they loved you and cared for you.
Yeah.
Rather than feeling like you were attacked.
Yeah.
So sometimes take the responsibility, I guess, if you're somebody who has maybe said something a bit out of line or said something a bit too passionately, you know, I do that sometimes.
Yeah, same.
You know, just say, maybe just check in and be like, hey, I didn't mean to say it like that. I do really care about you and I hope you're all right. Yeah.
And I think when you are such good friends, you'd understand that about each other.
Yeah.
Like me and my friends, we never fall out. That we don't have arguments. But if you piss me off in that sentence, I'll just be like, you're irritating me. Give me 10 minutes. And they'll say it to me like, Nelly, stop. But I'm like, all right, fine. And then we're fine. I just think you've got to call it out. And also the next day, if someone it happens, we all snap at each other.
Of course.
Might be a bit frosty that evening. If not that evening, the next morning I'll get a morning. You had a coffee yet? Or hey, look, I'm sorry about that. I shouldn't have said it that way. I just think just own it.
Just address it.
Just address it. It's fine. Otherwise, it will be the biggest thing in the world and you won't have spoken for a year before you know it.
And also sometimes it's okay if you're not perfect. You know, it's okay sometimes if you're rude. Yeah. It's okay sometimes if you said things in a horrible way, but just own it and address it.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we are so scared to say sorry because we feel like we're admitting like we're a really bad person. And I uploaded a clip from a podcast where I said, a lot of the time in Indian families, I feel we're not taught to address things and therefore we're not taught to say sorry. It's better it's just swept under the rug.
Yes.
Like if I've done something to upset you, don't talk about it, don't address it. And you know what? It's magically going to go away. Yes. And then I wonder, why do you resent me after all these years? Why do you get upset over the smallest thing? Yeah. Maybe because I've had to hide all these things under the rug. And you know what? There's no more space under the rug.
This is so true. Like, this is so true. It's like growing up, an auntie said something that annoyed you. Don't worry about it. Ignore them. It's fine. The same auntie says the same thing again the next year when I see her. And it's just, and then, you know, I get to an adult age and everyone's like, why do you not like her? I'm like, because I've had 10 years of her telling me that I look healthy every time she sees me.
Oh my God, this is so funny. I just did a podcast about this. Why is saying healthy such not a good compliment?
Yeah. I'm like,
being healthy is a good compliment, but we've been told that it's not.
Well, it's like when I get, and this is when Indian aunties will say, you look healthy, I'm like, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean because I have put on a few pounds and I'm okay with it, but you've noticed it. But it's when
the tone.
Yes.
It's like, you look healthy.
Yeah, you looking healthy. And I'm like, Is that not a good thing? But then again, if my white friends say it, I'm like,
Yeah.
thanks, girl. I've been glowing. I've been using these vitamins. I've been using this hair oil. Like, yeah.
It's always with the intention.
Yes.
Right? It's
Yeah.
always the way in someone says it to you. And I totally resonate when someone says like, you look healthy. It's like, well, thank you. It's a compliment.
Yeah.
I don't look like I'm sick. I don't look like I need to be admitted.
Exactly.
So thank you. I'll appreciate that. But they're like, I meant something different.
Yeah.
You know?
I know exactly what you mean, but I can't let you have it.
Yeah, I get it. I think one thing that's a really hard question is when to leave a toxic relationship. Because when is the perfect time? When did you realize that you were done with this?
I think what really made me think I need to change something was when the penultimate commitment ceremony for me, Paul Brunson was talking about another couple and was saying that that husband didn't have a voice in that relationship. And I was sat there minding my own business, watching them. And Paul Brunson turns around to me and he was like, Nelly, you need to take note because you don't have a voice either in your relationship. And I remember being a bit like, oh, that's heavy. I was like, he's right. I don't have a voice. And I remember as he was saying it to that other husband, I remember thinking, that's literally me. I was like, oh. And I remember thinking, I was like, surely he's not going to say something about me. But literally Paul Brunson turned around, Nelly, this is you, take notes because I'm talking to you as well at this point. And I think it was Steven's reaction. It wasn't like I'm so sorry that you feel like you've not had a voice or other people have felt that. I never want you to feel that way again. What can I do? It was none of that. It was defensiveness. It was, I can't believe that they've said that. Like, that makes me look bad. Like, they're just painting me out to be bad. And I was thinking, well, what did you want me to do? Do you want me to stand up in that middle of the commitment ceremony that's not mine and say, that's not what he's doing?
And lie.
Yeah,
and lie. That's not how I feel.
Yeah, I was like, that's not happening. And then straight after that commitment ceremony, we had our partner swap. So I was with I was really good friends with Beck and Bailey in the experiment. They were like my rocks in there. So they put me with Bailey, and Bailey literally treated Beck just like how you would expect. Someone that he really loved Beck, he really cared for her. So he treated her like in a normal relationship. Beck and him had a fantastic relationship on the show. And I think they put me with him on partner swap to understand that's what a healthy dynamic is like. And that was when my wake-up call was like, sis, Steven is never, ever going to do that for you. Get out. And it wasn't that because Steven wasn't good enough. It was never that. It was what Bailey was showing me how a relationship should be. I've had these relationships. That was my fantastic relationship I ever, like my first ever one. It was my secure relationship where I look back on that with happy times. I thought that's how it used to feel. That's how it was. And then that was my wake up call. I thought, Steven will never do this and will never make me feel this way. So I have to do something. And then I found him on Hinge. Well, I didn't. My friend did.
Before we get to that part, oh God.
Honestly, the story is so many. It's like an onion. There are just layer after layer after layer. It doesn't stop.
And it just makes you keep crying.
Literally. I was like, I don't think I can cry anymore. I've not cried in ages. It's nice.
I think what you just said is so important for people listening at home and watching this podcast. When somebody shows you what a good relationship could be like, I think what I really love what you said is you had that self-awareness to say, am I ever going to get this? When I was at 25, I was in a really toxic relationship. And I remember my uncle said to me, Shivani, do you want this for the rest of your life? Because you're never going to get anything different. You've stayed in this for so long, year after year after year. You tell me the same thing. So you choose. You can continue to be in this, but accept it.
Yeah.
Or understand that you can get something differently.
Yeah.
And I think so many of us who are in toxic relationships always believe that that person will change.
Yeah.
Always believe that that person will do things differently. Always see the potential in them. But we are completely ignoring the potential in us to find someone differently. We're completely ignoring the fact that if we want them to change, we need to change. We need to change our behavior. We need to change the things that we're willing to accept.
Yeah.
And we need to change the relationship with ourselves to understand that we deserve more.
Yeah. You put that so beautifully. Honestly, you really have. It's so true though.
But it breaks my heart. I think so many of us feel like, he will change. Like you said, like we had the honeymoon period. I've seen that you have this within you. It's like, I've seen that you have it.
So you can do it.
You can do it. And, then you have this period where it's like, okay, he had a down day, or we went through our difficult time. Everyone goes through difficult times. I think this is the other thing that a lot of Indian girls especially feel. I don't know if this is an Indian thing, so don't come at me if it's not.
I think it is.
Enlighten me if it isn't. I would love to know.
No, because my thing is on Indian girls we put up with too much that we shouldn't because we see our mothers do it. or other Indian women do it. They get on with it. They are Indian moms are the most resilient women I've ever come across in my entire life.
Exactly, because they get on with it. They don't say how they really feel. They don't put up a fuss. Yeah. They don't really speak their mind. And guess what? They're praised for it.
They're praised.
And then we're the generation that it's like, oh my God, the modern woman is the crazy woman. Yeah. The modern woman is the one who actually says.
I was always a problem child. It was always at school I had an issue, but even like with my cousins, it was like, oh, Nelly's crazy. Oh, like she get her to do it. She doesn't care what people say. Like I was always that person. And I remember thinking kind of like, my parents kind of understood it, but even other aunties, oh, she's a problem, or she's naughty, or she's this. It's not. I just will tell you how I was feeling. Yeah. But I think for so long, and especially then being like, oh my God, I'm on TV now. I've got so many people coming at me saying, be careful of what you say. Remember, I'm not only representing, South Asians, I'm also representing dentists and all of that. I had so in my head, sometimes I think, well, in the real world, I probably would have done something about it, but I think I was also so afraid of letting down my community or letting down my profession that maybe I was like, you know what, just stay silent.
Yeah.
I think that played a big part into it.
I also think that women who are quite strong in terms of really career-driven, know what they want, have set boundaries in work, have set boundaries in their personal life. I definitely have this feeling that I shouldn't be too difficult. Yeah. I shouldn't stand up too much. Like I should let things go. I should compromise on stuff because I've been given everything else in life, and because I don't compromise on other things. Yeah. But because I feel that people see me as that as well, as someone who's very strong and very opinionated and has an opinion in life and is not afraid to say things as the way they are. I feel that people also think I have to compensate by being nice sometimes and letting things go. Yeah. And, if I do that, then I'm also accepted by people because it's like, I'm not always like that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I do.
I resonate with that so much.
Exactly what I do. Because I'm like, I know I can be a bit strong and I can be this.
Yeah.
You know what?
They're
wrong, but I'll let it slide.
I'll let it slide. Yeah. Let me just be like
I'm letting the wrong thing slide, aren't I?
I want to talk around now what you said, that you found someone on Hinge. Because, I honestly found this bloody hilarious.
Honestly,
I found it
ridiculous.
Bloody comical, the fact that he's like, that wasn't me. It's a verified profile. It's not me. And you're like, and you know what annoyed me about that moment so much is sometimes you've got the flipping evidence.
It's there, right? Bro.
And he's still lying. And he's still like, it's not me. And they're like, it's a verified account. And he's like, not me. Anyway, for people who haven't watched this, let's give this a bit of context. Yeah. You found out that your husband was on a dating app whilst you were in a relationship.
Yeah.
And he completely and utterly denied it. Gaslit you, said, you're lying, you're making it up. An expert even said, I've got the evidence, I've got the receipts, stop lying, you're going to be truthful. And he refused.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Okay, so we went after Partner Swap. Partner Swap is when I went with that husband, realised actually I needed to get more. Stephen had flirted with another wife that whole week, but we'll go past that.
Let's let that one go now.
Yeah, well, you know what? That one we'll let go. I'm learning. But yeah, no, so we did home stays. On the Sunday we were meant to leave. Stephen was like, I'm not coming. And I was like, okay. Like at this point, I think we both kind of knew. I mean, he obviously knew that he didn't want to be with me. I also knew at that point, I'll be honest, I thought, you're probably not going to be someone that I want to be with. But we still had a commitment ceremony to go. So you kind of you need to do the last commitment ceremony so you can sort of end it with the experts properly. But also I just thought, hang on a second, even as a friend, we've done this together. Just come with me to home stays. I've got like bedrooms in my apartment. Like you can have your own bedroom. You can I even said stay in a hotel. I'm not bothered. But like, what would be nice is after you've not really put in that much effort, it would be really nice for you to just make the effort to come to Manchester, see how I live. Yeah. Just do it, just to say I tried. And even though I knew it wasn't going to go anywhere, I just thought it'd be nice to have that back because I gave you so much.
I agree.
He refused to come. We didn't know why. He was just like, I'm categorically not coming with you on the Sunday. And me and the producer were like, fine. We got in the car, went to Manchester, had to break it to him. My mum and brother came for a meal. My mum cried because she was really. The last time she saw us, we were at the wedding. We had the best time.
Oh my gosh!
I'd FaceTimed her for Mother's Day, and obviously we had welfare there, like to make sure we don't tell them anything about the show. But I said to her in Gujarati really quick, I was like, it's going really good. Like, it's all happy. And then the welfare girl was like, she was like, I know you're chatting about it. Stop. I was like, okay, fine.
I love it.
Yeah, I tried so hard. I was like, let me just talk a little bit in Gujarati so she can kind of understand a little bit. But what she knew was we were good. So I live with one of the dentists that I work with, who's one of my best friends, Lucy. And she, that day, so I'd gone home with her. We filmed a scene, which was aired. And she was like, tell me about how it's been. I told her everything. And she really gave my head a wobble. She was like, are you okay? Like, why are you with this person? He does this, he does this, he does that. Tell me, she's like, what's good about your relationship? And I think someone saying to me, tell me one thing that's come out of this that's good. And I said, I still laugh about it now. I went, you know what's really nice is that he's made me feel like it's comfortable to cry in front of people and cry in front of him, because normally I don't like to cry in front of my boyfriends. She was like, Nelly, why are you crying? It's because of him. I think at that point I was like, oh shit, yeah, you're right.
That is so good.
You're crying because he's making you cry. Like, what? And I thought, yeah, fine. So Lucy had said to me, well, she said to me after, but she just had a feeling. She was like, this guy's dodgy. Why hasn't he come on this Sunday? He was so adamant. He was like, maybe I'll come up later during the week that you're there, but I'm not coming up on this Sunday. I'm not doing it. It's not good for me. Fine. I can't question that. I was like, right, you've made your choice up. Lucy, I don't know what possessed her, but she went on to a dating app, made a profile. He matched with it. She sent him a like. She was at work. He matched with it within 11 minutes, and that was on the day he was coming to Manchester. So, yeah. And then she didn't speak to him or anything. And then obviously that's why when he was denying it, she was like, are you okay? She was like, it's literally verified and you matched today. Because even now, he will still deny it to this day. He's been on another podcast. Even with the Hinge thing, it was filmed, and even what's been shown in the edit was me saying, when was this? And Lucy saying, today. That was the match. It was today. Even Steven has come out and spoken about this since then, and has said, oh no, that like was sent before the show, and that's why it matched.
Like, so it was him?
Yeah, because Lucy made it that day.
No, but he admits it was him now, because at first said it wasn't him, so I'm confused,
Well, now he said it wasn't him, but he said it wasn't him, but it was him, but he can prove it wasn't him because it was on his work phone. So I stopped listening when I heard that. I just thought, I can't.
You know what?
Just say it was you, brother. Like, it's fine.
It's all right. Just say it.
It's just
be free.
Just
let it out. How do people keep up with these lies?
I don't know.
If I lied to Nicole and be like, I didn't eat that like those mini cheddars, I'm like, think about it all night.
Yeah, I can't
what
sleep.
I mean? I start to get panicked. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to see. Like, what if he doesn't see? What if he does see?
I'm like, how do you sleep at night? Because I said one little white lie. I'm like, I just need to tell you the truth. But you know what? I think he's obviously got a lot of work and healing to do. And if he's still, after all of this and all of the reflection, is still kind of not really saying the truth, like, that's on you, man.
You know, the thing is people feel like once they've stuck to a lie, they have to stick with it for the rest of their life.
Yeah. And he will die on that hill because he stuck to it for so long.
Just admit you're wrong. It's okay.
We all make mistakes.
It's okay. Just say I didn't like Nelly and I made a fake profile because I was bored.
Literally.
It's all right.
Literally.
Just say it.
I've told you from the wedding night, I'm a big girl. If you don't like me, tell me. Tell me. I can deal with it. You think someone's not told me that they don't fancy me before? It happens all the time. I tell people I don't fancy them all the time. It's a two-way thing.
You know what's really funny? You can always tell someone's lying. You know how?
When they tell left.
Well, no, that's a good one. Which way's I'm like, which way's my bloody left? I don't even know. You can always tell someone is lying when they give you multiple reasons as to why a situation has happened.
Interesting.
Always. If I say to you, Nelly, did you take my iPad? And you're like, no, I haven't seen it. I didn't even know you had an iPad. I didn't even know what colour it was.
Right, fine.
Well, which one is it? Did you not know I had one? Did you not know what colour it was? Have you not seen it?
Surely it's just I've not seen it.
Surely it's just one reason, right? But always when someone is lying, I had this time when someone lied to me and I said, you know that you didn't tell me that on purpose. And she said, no, I didn't. Because I didn't know this and I didn't know that and I didn't know that. I said, 3 reasons. 3. Like, just pick one. Just choose one lie and go with it. I can remember all 3 of these. Well, I didn't say that to her face, did I? Couldn't bloody say it, could I? Sometimes I can't say things when I know someone's lying. So I was just like, okay. You know, I've learned sometimes the art of silence. This is what
powerful.
This is what I'm trying to learn in my wise age. Because I'm a confronter. I'm like, well, this is the evidence.
Yeah.
Here's the proof. Where's the handcuffs? Let me handcuff you now.
That was me that's why I bought the paper receipts. I went, you are not getting out of this. I was like, you're not getting out of it.
But they will. A liar will always want to get out of it.
Because they were like, you can't have your phones or anything in there. And I said, I need my phones. The producer went, we cannot give you your phone. And I was like, fine. I ran to a print shop with shampoo in my hair. Honestly, no bra on, running down Wembley, like shampoo, bubbles are still coming out of my hair because I had to film in in half an hour. I ran into the shop and I was like, it was 9 o'clock. There was a massive line. I thought, who is lining up at a print shop at 9 a.m.?
Who even prints things anymore?
Right. And I walked in, I was like, guys, I'm really sorry. My husband is cheating on me and I need to get the evidence. And then the wife went, come to the back. She got her husband to sit there. It was fabulous.
Oh my God, I love that story. I wish you'd vlog that.
I know. You know what? I actually might do a little TikTok story about it.
I love it. He'd come to Manchester, you'd confronted him, and then he denied it. Then?
I knew at that point he was lying because I also started clocking that he does this little thing with his mouth when he lies. Every time, it's like a tick. He'll kind of do that with his tongue. So we'd done that. But also, I also knew that there is no way on earth. I trust Lucy with everything. She knows everything about me. There is no way that woman is coming on TV to rip Steven a new arsehole when she's just come home from work and it not be facts. Lucy's not going to, I know her, she's never going to do that. She's never going to do it based off assumption. She's going to come for someone with receipts. It's because it's happened. So I thought, well, obviously I'm going to believe her. I've known Lucy a lot longer than you. And I actually, when he left, me and Lucy looked at each other and just burst out laughing. We were like, what the hell was that? What the hell was that? Like, so I think at that point, I just thought this guy, I think what he was hoping for that situation was we were going to come in and end it nicely. He told the guys at the pub when they all went, he said, I've got nothing bad to say about her. It's been great. It's been an experiment, but we just want to end it amicably. And I think for him, it was a shock finding that out. And it kind of plays into what happened further down the series with the reunion and the other sort of wives and stuff. But yeah, I think that's how I found out about the Hinge. And I think at that point I thought, well, obviously we're completely done now. Not only we both kind of knew we were done, but we still had the basic respect. I would never have done that to him.
Of course.
And also, we're in the experiment. Have some respect for the experiment. Have some respect for the other couples that are doing this and people who are doing it properly. I did it properly. Now, it came out now. Obviously, I'd stopped dating. When they tell you to stop dating, I'd stop dating. I wasn't dating anyway, but it come out that he had a girlfriend before. He messaged her on the wedding day. Do you know what I mean? And I just think now I can see it all, watching it back, thinking you obviously weren't in it. When is the right time to leave? I think when the signs are so loud that you can't ignore them, but also when, I think for me, I thought at this point, I am now causing detriment to myself. It is hurting me being with you. And I think that was at the start, but I didn't realize it. And I thought, we can work through this. I can be a bit more resilient. I can change a little bit. I can compromise a bit. Nelly, this is a two-way street. It's not just Steven. So I did everything I could to shrink myself and to accommodate Steven and what he was going through and what he was dealing with. Minimize myself to try and help it to the point where I was like, no, this is damaging me now. And I'm never going to get, that's not, what we had towards the end wasn't a relationship. I said that at the penultimate commitment ceremony. I said, this is not enough on the outside. We're just coexisting. But even that I was punished for. It was, how can you say that we're in a relationship? And I thought, I cannot at any point, I was like, I can't keep being punished for saying the truth. And I think that's what it was. I think that was the alarm bell of every time I speak up and say the truth and other people agree, that's when it's a problem. And I'm like, no, I don't know what it is. I think it was a multitude of things. It was Paul Brunson telling me that I haven't got a voice. Bailey and my partner swap week and me realizing that this isn't normal. It was a case of me realizing the damage and just having a bit of breathing space from Steven for a few days while we did partner swap, having that breathing space to be completely myself and just thinking, hang on a second, I've not been this person for so long and I'm certainly not this person around Steven. Why? Because I make myself small and I make myself small to make him feel better or to avoid certain conflicts because I was so conflict avoidant because the first time I brought up conflict when we had that argument, not that argument, we came back from the honeymoon and I said, look, you're not being the same. And I said it like this, but it got blown into this massive thing. We had to spend a night apart. And I thought, and I think at that point I just thought, I better not say exactly how I feel.
Is that when he called you a fucking idiot?
That was a week after when I broke my rib. And then he'd stayed out talking about getting some sexual activities from some woman he was seeing before the show. But then I was an idiot for believing the people that said it. Again, why are the other cast going to lie to me? They have no reason to lie. Like I always say, there's no smoke without fire.
Yeah.
And, people, and I think, some people don't like that. I always say, I'll always believe the other woman over the man. Always. Always, always, always. Why would she lie?
This is so interesting because I always feel like a lot of the time, a lot of friends do not tell their own friends that their partner's cheating on them because they feel that the friends won't be friends with them anymore.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They'll be like, I'm not going to tell my friend because then she's going to attack me. Because a lot of the time...
They do though, don't they? Yeah.
People attack the friend, say, you're ruining my relationship. I always think that happens though when you don't actually have a good relationship. Because like you just said with Lucy, she's been your friend for years.
Yeah.
And she's not going to lie to you. And also, you have a strong enough relationship where you know that you can value and trust her.
Yeah.
I think
put everything into it. I was like, I completely believe you.
And I love that because why would you believe a random person over your best friend?
Literally, a guy who's not treated me right, gaslit me and manipulated me that whole time over somebody who's done nothing but care for me. Like, she wasn't meant to be in that scene. She came back from work. She had veneers in all day. She didn't even have a speck of makeup on or her hair. Like, they didn't let her come into the apartment because they didn't want her to tell me. So it had to be on camera. She couldn't even brush her hair. She had to brush her hair with her fingers in the lift. I'm thinking, like, if she's going to come on camera to tell me that, it's because she needs to tell me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always going to believe that.
I love that you said that you'd always trust your friends.
Always.
And I think that that's a really great lesson as well, is that maybe also the way your friend told you as well was like logical with evidence. It wasn't emotive. I think sometimes when girls are like, just trust me. It's like, okay, but you need to tell me why because I need to know.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of friendships break up because of that. And a lot of people, like we've played, would you ever, would you rather, would you ever? And everyone's like, I would never tell. I think boys especially would never tell if their friend was cheating on them.
Yeah. I feel like they wouldn't.
They wouldn't.
Bros are just like, nah, it's bros, innit? Like, I don't know.
Just don't say.
They just don't say anything. I do agree with that.
One thing I think that you said that is really, really important is that you spent time alone and that's where you realized you were actually a different person. I love it so much that you did that and you were kind of forced to do that. I'm so happy he didn't come with you. A lot of the time when people are in toxic relationships, they barely get time alone to think.
Yeah.
Every time that they're alone, they're thinking about how they're going to approach a conversation with that person because they're so nervous, or you're arguing with that person when you're not with them. And then when you're with them, it's like you're in this toxic relationship of everything's amazing and then it's really crap and you're just in this like roller coaster and you don't know like when you're coming up or coming down.
Yeah.
I always say to people, the most important thing you can do is spend time alone because that's where you realize what you're like without them. You start to figure out your own thoughts and you also start to see a different side of yourself.
Literally. What
did you do on those days when you were alone? Did you like do things for yourself? Did you like journal? Did you do anything? Did you walk?
Honestly, just being back in my own environment. I popped to work really quickly just to say hi. Production didn't know, but I took my car and went. I was like, hi guys, I can't tell you anything, but popped to work to say hi, saw my mum and my brother. And you know what, for me, mainly, it was just speaking to Lucy. Like, me and her are so close. We've been living together for a few years, but that girl knows everything about me. And I think just speaking it out with her. And also when she was at work, because obviously I was still filming, so there were days where I was at home and I wasn't fully back at work yet. But even just simply sitting there and going, what the hell has just happened?
Yeah.
Because I still had, that was home stays. He didn't come for mine. I had a few days of filming and then ideally I was meant to be going to his, but obviously I didn't go. And then we were just going to meet up at the commitment ceremony. So I had a week to myself. And actually it was Easter weekend. So I went home, I saw my other best friend who was around with her dog. And I think being back in like a normal environment just made me realize I actually deeped everything. I sat there on my phone and I wrote down everything. I was like, let me journal.
Yeah.
And I've never actually journaled. So actually, I did journal.
You did?
Yeah, I journaled. I wrote down everything, what happened from wedding, honeymoon, week 1, week 2, what happened at each dinner party, each commitment ceremony. And I dissected it. And I was like, what the hell have I actually been doing? And I think that was then, that was the big wake up call. Like, are you okay? Because and I remember I left the experiment. We have all the psych meetings and we have therapists that will contact us and we'll do weekly psychs and stuff until we say like, we're fine and we don't want any. But I remember leaving the experiment and feeling so ashamed, like heavy, heavy shame. And I remember thinking, people going, why do you feel ashamed? Like, Lucy was like, you've got nothing to feel ashamed over. But I remember saying I was like, I can't place it and I don't know the words for it, but I just can't understand how I could have been there and allowed him to treat me that way and stood for that behavior that I would never stand for, and I haven't stood for in the real world. But then the therapist told me that it was cognitive dissonance, which apparently does happen a lot on reality TV shows. You kind of see it as like a bubble, like your brain doesn't compute.
Of course.
Like, yeah. So I think that helped massively, because I would say for about 4 weeks leaving the show, I was in a dark place, but I just felt quite down. I felt really ashamed of what I'd done. Not that I'd done anything bad, but I just thought, how have you gone out there saying that you've got big balls, you're going to go on this reality TV show, represent, women of color, South Asian women, and you do your family proud, and you sit there and you take behavior like that. Now, obviously, I've had more time to process it and digest it, and I understand it. But that's why I would say it was a big thing leaving the show as well. But and I made sure that, so I had those feelings of shame. And then after my final commitment ceremony, we have the final reunion, which is like 7 weeks later. So I made sure I had therapy to work through that shame feeling, so that when I came back into that reunion, I felt empowered and I could articulate everything I wanted to articulate without being scared or without being nervous.
I think that's really brave of you to share that. And I don't think you should feel any shame at all, because you did actually do nothing wrong. You were just kind and considerate and open-minded and gave someone the benefit of doubt. You were just trying to see the best in somebody.
Yeah, I really was.
I don't think that's a negative trait to have. And I don't think someone should ever take that away from you also and say that that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that it is. I think there's so many people in the world who love to see the negative in everyone. I was just talking about this before you came in. We've become in a world where we're so pessimistic. We love to say what people are bad at. We love to criticize people for everything. If I share something, it's like, we didn't share that. If I tell you this, that we didn't do that. If I say something about my experience, well, you didn't share my experience. Well, you know what? Can we just look at the positives in people? No one is perfect.
Give us a break, man.
Yeah, just calm down. Honestly, the internet is a wild place at the moment.
Wild.
It's fantastic that we can learn from it.
Yeah.
Also, if you see something that you don't like, just scroll.
Just scroll.
Just scroll. There's not a handcuff being like, you must like this.
Yeah.
No. Just move on. Just scroll past it.
People get so vexed, don't they?
Unfollow me. It's okay. And also, I don't need an announcement when you unfollow me. It's all right. You can leave. It's okay. I'm not saying I'm the guru of the world. I'm just sharing my own opinion.
Yeah. And if you like it, cool. If you don't, see you later.
It's all right. I'm okay if you don't like me. Not everyone likes me. Sometimes I don't even like myself. So it's all right. I'll be okay with it. I would really love to get your advice, though, on how somebody who is in a relationship where they feel like they are always shrinking themselves for their partner, because I do also have a friend that's in a relationship with somebody at the moment, and she feels like she can never tell him how much she earns because he earns so much less than her. And she can never talk about the opportunities that she gets, because she'll get an opportunity. Like, let's just say I'm like, oh my God, I got Nelly on my podcast today.
Yeah.
And let's say I'm with someone who is like, well, I didn't get anyone on my podcast today. Right? Like, how do they share their wins with a partner who doesn't have the same wins going on in their life and is putting them down for it?
And I think that's the problem, though. If the partner isn't having the same wins, but they celebrate you and they're your biggest cheerleader, then it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Like, that
what if they don't? And what if you then feel bad to be like, yeah, you're right. You know what? I just made 10K from this, but you don't even make 10K in a year.
Yeah. Well, then I think if someone, and I think it's human though, it's not just, it's kind of saying, well, he's obviously not the right person for if he's not celebrating your wins. I understand. It must be really crappy to be that person. It must be really shit thinking, I'm doing everything that person's doing. And that is hard to navigate when you have to feel like you're shrinking yourself. Don't though, because shrinking yourself will never ever work. It will never be okay. Like, why shrink yourself? Because you shrink yourself, you're unhappy and they're happy, but
they're not even going to be happy.
They're not, but you're both still unhappy because he's still complaining that he's not doing this. Don't ever shrink yourself. Like, I think as hard as it might be, then I think that comes back into a bit of people pleasing. I did a lot of that. Paul Brunson called me out and called me a people pleaser. He was like, you're people pleasing, stop. And I think that's when it comes down to, don't people please. If you are shining, shine bright, and the people that want to be behind you will be.
How did you learn how to stop people pleasing from the show?
It was from the show. I'd done it for years. And my good friends have always said, you're a doormat, you're a pushover. I used to be a right doormat. And then I got some strength after one of my bad relationships. And then I kind of became a little bit more, people who really know me know I'm soft, like really, really soft.
This is so interesting, isn't it? Because you just said that growing up, you were the difficult one, you stood up for yourself, you shared how you feel, but then people are calling you a doormat. I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
How?
So I feel like growing up, I was always always in trouble, always got a loud mouth, always this, always too brash, too harsh, too whatever. And then I think going into my teenage years, like also I was a really fat kid, like really, really fat. And I think it all kind of plays into that a little bit. I think your confidence from seeing all your friends looking really cute and stuff, it makes you think, oh, well, I don't look as nice. But then also being told personality wise, you're too this, you're too much. I went into a stage of like, I think now I deep it. I was extremely anxious a lot of the time. I didn't realize it at the time, but if like, for example, a classmate would not look at me and give me their felt tip, I would have dreadful anxiety for the rest of the day. I would feel sick. If someone didn't ring me back, like on the home phone, like they said they would, or they said I need to go, and I would just pick up on little bits. But then I was in like a wave of anxiety for so long, and I think that lasted even throughout university. Luckily for me, I had supportive friends, but also I had a really supportive boyfriend at the time that made me feel so safe and stuff, so that I kind of worked through that. And then I had like a relationship where I had to get a bit more gutsy around it. And that's when I think I started putting in changes and not being a pushover. So then that's when I started I wasn't a pushover and a doormat with my friends, but I was still a doormat in relationships. So I was conflict avoidant still in relationships, and I still did that on MAFS. And that's, I still haven't, I guess, known exactly where it's come from. But I know the shift changed when I moved to Manchester and I was in that relationship and left him. And it was a difficult one because I work for his cousin still.
Wow.
So it was a difficult one because I remember thinking, how do I navigate this breakup where I'm kind of intertwined with the family, but still working for the family? And it was fine, you know, we can separate that. But I think that was when I started to have to get a bit of a backbone, and I could put that, and I started putting that into place with my friendships, with work and everything else. But the only place I couldn't put that in was my relationships. I still was I didn't rate myself.
Yeah.
I actually just didn't rate myself, and I thought, you're lucky to be with him. Like, just be quiet and do what he says.
Oh my God, I resonate with that so much.
Like, yeah, I just didn't rate myself, I think. Yeah, I didn't.
You know, a lot of the time, you know, this thing I feel so strongly about is when we don't have self-worth, we just accept scenarios in our life.
Yes.
We accept the relationship, we accept the job, we accept how our friend treats us. Because we're just like, well, we should be lucky enough to have that. And I don't want to speak up because like I don't really have a leg to stand on. And it all comes down to our self-worth. How did the experiment stop you from becoming a people pleaser?
I think it was the realization for me actually, was people pleasing is, look, I like to people please. I like to make people happy. I want to make people feel heard, seen, all of that kind of thing. But it was when I realized that it was at a detriment to myself. And that's when I realized that I had to stop, because everything I'd done in the experiment to people please my husband and make him feel good and try and get our relationship back on track, I was hurting myself. We weren't if the relationship was growing, I wasn't really growing. The relationship was going good because I was staying silent and I was being conflict avoidant. So that's why the relationship was doing good. Did I feel more secure in my relationship? I said I was at the time. Was I? No. I was just thinking, oh my God, it's a good week. We've not argued. And I think the realization of you put people, I think with South Asians as well, we put ourselves above. We're taught that. It's because our families do, our moms do. They are so selfless that we've been raised like that. So that's how I sort of do life. But to the point where where I would say my mum put people above herself when she damaged herself during that. And I thought, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. And that's when I realized that this has got too far. If I'm hurting myself in the process, your feelings do not come above mine, especially when you don't care about my feelings. Like, it was also the realization of, hang on a second, would he do this for you? And I thought, well, no, what am I doing? What am I doing?
We're always taught to care about other people's feelings, but what about our own?
Literally.
Who's going to care about us?
Yeah.
You know? What did this experiment teach you about the difference between insecurity and intuition?
So I know I'm smiling. It's because it was such a big journey for me. But I think...
Why are you apologising for smiling?
I know, I don't know.
You're allowed to smile.
I'm smiling like a creep. I think with intuition, like when I was being intuitive and questioning things, it was labelled as insecure and needy, which was incredibly frustrating. But I think the people that label you as insecure and needy, it's because you're kind of exposing them a little bit. Does that kind of make sense? Like, the people who are uncomfortable with me bringing out this stuff is when people are the same people that want me to be silent. They don't want me to bring it up. So of course you might then me saying my intuition's going off, you're going to label it as insecure and needy because you'd rather me be silent.
Yeah.
If I was up to what you're up to, I'd want you to be silent too. And I think that's what it is. And I think, well, that is the difference. My intuition didn't make me insecure or needy. My intuition was a pattern recognition.
Yeah.
Like, I've been cheated on in all 3 of my relationships. So I'm at the point now where you think the 4th time I would know, but I'm starting to pick up on stuff. For example, the first flag for me was the love bombing. I have never picked up on love bombing before. My ex before Steven love bombed me. And that's why at the on the honeymoon, I remember thinking, hang on a second, this is going as good as it was my last time, where we were completely infatuated with each other. And that's why my gut started going off that's why I was thinking, am I getting love bombed? But I was sort of told, no, it's not. And this is, I don't think anyone's fault because it was so early on. And I told myself the same thing. I thought, relax, like, just because your ex was like that doesn't mean this guy is. He could be amazing. Give him a chance. Like, who are you to judge somebody when you don't know them?
What part of Nelly walked into MAFS and what part of Nelly walked out?
The hopeful Nelly walked into MAFS about finding her love story, but the hopeful Nelly is still walked out. I know he's out there for me. It hasn't, because people always ask me, have you given up on men now? Like, are you done? And no, there are incredible men out there. Some of my friends were the most amazing men in the world. And I'm always like, surely you've got a mate for me. Do you know what I mean? But the Nelly that walked in was someone who thought she was self-assured and confident and could call out bullshit and was not scared of saying anything. That's who I thought I was walking in. But now I know I am that person walking out. Whoever I think I'm walking out, I'm the person that I wanted to be, or I thought I was, or I was just trying to pretend to be. I thought, fake it till you make it.
It was in you.
Yeah, it was always in me, but MAFS has brought that out.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what it was. This person has always been within me, but I just needed that push. And if it's got to be on national telly, it's got to be on national telly. But maybe it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for that.
I love it. And I really want you to recognize it was always in you.
Yeah.
Your strengths were always within you. Everything that you're saying about yourself, like, you have it. Like, it's yours. It's just sometimes we need experiences and different scenarios in our life to bring it out.
Yeah.
What's one thing you wish every woman learned about trusting themselves?
When you learn to trust yourself and do those things that you're scared about doing. And it's hard because sometimes you're going off gut instinct when you haven't got evidence. But I think, how often is it that women will always say, yeah, but I turned out to be right? When do women really say, I was wrong? Yeah, it doesn't. Of course it happens, but it doesn't happen that much. I mean, I think just having, I just think trust your gut. It's called women's intuition for a reason. This has been around for years. You will meet women that will go, I kind of knew that was happening. And they'll have some story about someone they were dating, but you felt it at the time, so trust it. You felt at the time you were right. Trust it. Fair enough, don't jump to conclusions. I jump to conclusions. They rarely backfire, actually, but got a good streak right now. But yeah, I think if you are going to jump to conclusions, fine. If you do need a little bit of evidence, that's fine. You can stay for a little bit longer and collect your evidence while you're doing it. But whilst you're doing it, make sure that you have a good support system around you so that when you do decide to make the move and trust your instinct and go for it, you've got people that either understand and that you've got someone to speak to. I think isolation's really where things can get quite difficult.
Yeah, I agree. I really honestly have enjoyed this conversation so much.
Me too.
I feel like you've taught me so much, and thank you for being so open and honest and really vulnerable. I think it's really amazing that you've just been so transparent about your whole journey, and I know you're going to help a lot of women.
Thank you.
Thank you.